I'd like to call to order the Town of Rome Utility Committee meeting. It is Monday, October 2nd, and it's 3:08 PM. And I would do roll call starting on my left.
Capel here.
Loker here?
Stoyl here.
And if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Robbie, could you certify the posting of the meeting, please?
I can. On September 28th, I emailed town support at 2:36 p.m. On September 28th, 2023, I emailed Rapids Tribune at 2:37 p.m. I posted to the town hall on September 28th, 2023 at 2:56 p.m. Posted at Quick Trip September 28th at 3:01 p.m. And I posted to Nuku Support Edward State Bank September 28th, 2023 at 2:52 p.m.
Thank you. Item number 6 is citizen comments. We didn't receive any comment cards and there's no citizens here, so we'll dispense with the reading. If anyone would join us, they're welcome.
Back up, approve the agenda.
Oh, thank you. Item number 5, approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Moved by Stoyl,
Seconded.
second by Loker. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Very good. Item number 6, we'll dispense with the reading of that agenda item. No citizens present. No action contemplated except possible referral to a future agenda. Item number 7 is information updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, and current events. Do any of the committee members have any items to share?
Nothing.
No. The, I can never, the new road.
Timberline?
Thank you, Timberline. That's all done and
It is completed successfully, yes.
energized, whatever.
Yes, we've passed all the water testing, everything, so they are finishing up sending the bill out. It's the
Yep.
last step.
I haven't gotten the final bill yet, but I would suspect that general engineering will put it together and send it to us shortly.
Correct. Yep, went very well,
And we did 2 bacteria tests and both came back good.
correct.
Okay, and the cost is, you've got some money for that other than utility? That's
Correct.
Good.
It's getting paid for out of tourism funds from the town as budgeted last year.
Okay, how many lots are there?
There is
Connect.
no predetermined lots in Rome Town Center, so anyone that would come forth would present how much acreage they would want to buy.
Okay, just fire protection doesn't apply? Or it's one
On the
lot for?
parcels, yes.
On the parcels, yes.
Okay,
Once it's are they parceled already?
no,
No,
Right, okay.
so you've got one parcel?
no, there's more than one, but there are some large tracts of land, and the town pays the fire protection fee on all of our tracts of land there.
Oh, okay.
Cool?
Yeah, I think that's good. I just, it was just one of those questions, because if you put in 40 parcels, then,
Then we get
yeah.
40 public fire protection.
Discussion and possible action on the following items. Item number 8 is discussion and possible action on the 2023 projected year-end budget and 2024 budget for the Rome Water Utility. Robbie did send out a series of items. I think just to start with, were there any questions as a follow-up for the year-end? Let's do year-end projections for 2023 and then do 2024 budget. So if we start it with year-end projections for 2023, that's on the budget worksheet, that would say 2024 proposed budget with comparatives.
Okay.
Remy,
So-
go ahead. I have a question on the water line repair and maintenance. That is a general, and that would be just done by the the Rome Water Utility
operators,
crew.
yes,
That's no, if we had to hire outside
Nope.
contract, okay.
Nope.
On the late fees for revenue, do we have that many people that pay late
Yes.
that we wind up collecting off of the tax roll rather
Yes.
than their bill?
Yep,
And that's why the increase then?
correct.
Okay.
We have some residents right now that are a couple $1,000s.
Is there a process the town has to go through in order to add that to the tax roll?
I do that. So
Okay.
starting October 1st, this week I work on getting those notices out people that are late right now, 3 month, or not the last 3 months, but the previous 9 months. So, those notices go out, they're assessed a late fee on November 1st if I don't receive anything. And then that's a
Then it goes on
10%
to the
rate
tax.
fee, it's 10% versus 3%. And then on October, or November 15th, it gets rolled to the tax
Okay.
roll if I do not receive payment.
Okay,
How successful are we?
Tax roll, very.
We get 98%, 90%?
I would say 92%,
Okay, 90%.
yeah.
And what happens to the other ones that don't pay is that, are those lots that are abandoned for taxes or
They,
something?
foreclosures happen,
They'll
It just
eventually go to
depends.
tax deed,
yeah.
Okay,
which would happen through the county. Tax
And
deed
then
would happen through the
When
county.
they sell that property, then they pay me.
oh, okay,
money.
so,
So eventually, we'll get it eventually.
yeah,
Sort of like taxes.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Rolls the same way.
We, here at the town, we do very few special assessments. You do many more than,
Yes.
yeah, so.
okay.
Any other thing on 2023 projected year ends?
Okay, we're gonna come in under, over budget on revenues, under budget on expenses. So we're in relatively good financial shape that way.
Correct.
There's nothing wrong with making a profit.
Well, you're,
Not really making a profit,
no,
but it's
You're-
there to help in case we have like a major break in the main that we have to take care of. We have the cash on hand.
Yeah.
you're projecting putting $96,000 in cash reserves.
Correct.
Yep. So 2024 budget, and Robbie has made some footnotes that relate to items, but Robbie, why don't you just walk us through 2024 budget?
Okay, so our overall budget for the year will be, the revenue comes in at 1,143,420. And based on that revenue coming through, my expenses, because we basically zero out our budget every year, correlate to that. And that is line item by line item that we go through. So we had residential revenue of 684,833. We had total public authority revenue of 61,242. Then we have our public fire protection that comes in at 345,846. Late fees, contributions to aid of construction, operating job meter pits, hydrants, that new services, and interest income brings us to our 1,143,420 million.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If I, footnote number 2 is the commercial public authorized sales. Where's that? Is that coming from?
So we have, a couple new businesses in the Hometown Center. And
Yeah.
the splash pad was really good. In
Splash
revenue.
pad is a good percentage of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
so
would also
then,
have the meat market that
Meat
opened
market.
this past year.
Market, the bakery,
Upfront Brewing's coming in,
Okay.
the bakery,
the,
Papa
new,
Bear's shop, the new clothing store.
The addition of the apartments,
And
which are all
the
separately
apartments
metered.
are
Apartment
huge.
additions, yep.
Yep.
and what about the
Okay,
brewery?
so-
Is that gonna,
They're not
Bump it.
online yet.
They'll
I
be,
know they're not. Will that bump it up
it
at
will,
all?
it'll bump it,
Okay.
yeah.
okay. So we're starting to get some revenue there. Good. Interest income is down. It's a big percent, but not big dollars.
Correct.
And that's just because the loans are getting close to being paid off, so the interest is smaller every year.
Yes, more to principal. We have 2 years on the tower and 4 years on, or 3 years it'll be in 2024, it'll be 1 year on the tower and then 3 years on the,
Okay.
Not to
and-
jump, but there's a separate sheet for the debt obligations too.
Okay,
we're getting close.
good.
Any other questions on the revenue piece? Robbie, do you want to walk through the expenditures?
So the expenditures, I mean, I can go through, basically it's everything that it takes to run the utility. from salaries to expenses, to loans that we have to pay out, our payment in lieu of taxes. I just plugged the 125 in there. I'm not, I mean, it's
That's what I
roughly-
have in the, ours is
Okay.
choose 125. It might go down a little
It
bit this
could,
year,
right.
but it's, yeah.
It's roughly
it's
been around
roughly
that
right, yep.
area.
Okay.
Good.
Commissioner wages are up 20%.
So I'm anticipating that this committee is going to meet like 6 times next year, every other month, and then we'll have a full committee of 5, so that would bring that up.
Okay.
So
So-
this year, we didn't meet very often.
Yeah.
And we only had 3. So I'd put that as a projection. Unless we're giving you a raise.
Okay.
I have an issue with the personnel wages,
Okay.
specifically with the note, the footnote that says a 5% increase for each employee, which is fine, plus 316 for the utility manager to bring her to the appropriate level of direct reports. I have not had that discussion with any board members at all to date. We have asked our HR auditors to weigh in on that issue
Okay.
because we understand that Cody is now making more than you are on an hourly rate. But it would be, unless you're planning on getting your rating this year or early next year, it would be premature to start funding it at that level. Because your next increase would be predicated on your getting the certification as a operator in charge.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
And that was discussed, I think the first discussion we had when we were looking at how are we gonna restructure and how are we gonna run on an interim basis. And I can provide you with documentation of decisions that have been made if you need. I'm waiting for the minutes on the last meeting for the Cody thing, but I have the 2 meetings previous to that where we've made decisions on salaries.
Okay.
So I can't support the increase of the 316 at this point in time.
But supportive of the 5% for all employees.
But I am supportive of the 5% across the board, right?
And if there was a,
And if there's a certification, then at that time, if she gets the operator in charge certification, that time she needs to bring it forward immediately. And we will take steps. But what she's saying is she's being paid less than people she's managing. Now, normally that's not a great situation to have, but there are some other things at stake
Yeah.
here that have caused that. And Robbie is going after her certification. And once that happens, that situation will be rectified, but I believe it should take that certification in order to do that.
Okay.
You noted?
I just, sorry, right before it still would be a town board,
Decision.
determination, because
Correct.
wages are town board determination.
Correct.
And, depending on outcome of the meeting today, it could still be added. The utility budget will be talked about on Thursday either way, because it still needs to be approved as the recommendation from this
Right.
committee to town
I'm
board.
not suggesting anything other than that I can't support it to the town board.
Okay, but if we leave it in the budget, then at the end of the year, worst case is
It gets carried over.
it gets carried over, or we don't carry our budgets over.
No, it gets put into the, that's why, prior to your coming, I asked what happens to the unspent funds.
Yeah.
And they go into the capital replacement fund.
Yes.
So
And-
it's not, I'm not suggesting we're taking it out. I'm just saying I can't support
Okay, I think we should leave it in, because,
the balance, the budget
It-
balances.
yeah, to balance it, and if it happens,
If
then
she
we're
does
going
get the
to-
ratings, then the money is there.
yeah. Otherwise, then we gotta rob Peter to pay Paul, and I don't like that.
I didn't suggest taking it out.
Okay, no, good,
Didn't suggest that.
yeah.
Just
but
so
I-
everybody's clear.
Yeah, I think you're correct, though, in your explanation, that at least it's gotta be brought up the way you did.
Well, that's exactly how I would bring it up.
Yeah,
And I don't think I'm misstating anything at least at this point in time.
okay,
So just for clarity for minutes and recording, it would stay under the personnel wages line item, the way that it is now, but the office manager and accountant position would receive the 5% increase as of January 1, and any additional increase after that, once certifications would be achieved, would come back to town board for that increase. But it would stay in that account line for now, so this money would be set aside.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Robbie, do you just want to talk a little bit too about capital? So there's two capital projects.
Yeah.
There's the repair and replace the doors at Leisure Lane, in the building, $16,000. I'm assuming those are steel doors.
They are steel doors. This encompasses 6 doors, and hardware. All the hardware in our chemical rooms, the handles are all getting corroded and that kind of stuff, so this.
Interior or exterior or a combination?
Both.
Main entry door into the building, and will that still be a glass door?
It will be,
Okay,
yes.
just, it helps with viewing and the
Lights,
yeah,
seeing
so I,
everybody, yep.
yep. And then
it'll
add,
still have that glass on the top of it too, because there's that separation between the two in order to
Transom
make the
light,
whole,
yeah.
yeah, it's a pane up there, yeah.
and then add electric to replace solar panels at the gateway locations. We talked about that we would be running that electric because of the solar is not always, we don't always get a reliable read.
Correct.
Okay.
Were those bid out?
The bidding is going on right now, so yes.
Okay.
Okay. What I would like on these capital projects like this, since they're kind of nebulous, we've talked about it and everything, a one-pager saying, this is the problem, this is the cost if we don't do it, this is the cost of doing it and how we're gonna do it, and what the payback is. You know, real simple, it's it's documented, okay? It's just a little project thing, and that's for both of them. That way, a year from now, 2 years from now, somebody says, well, why was that done? You have a piece of paper and a document that you can go back to. You know, I'm not a big report or appropriation request, but just some documents.
A brief description could just get added to this, and then even if you took up the piece of the conversation that we're having right now, or out of the previous minutes, because we talked quite a bit about
The solar
gateway.
the
lights.
solar, yeah.
Well, nobody said it's costing us this much a year for not doing it. You know, we're not getting the billing in, or we're estimating, or whatever, okay?
And then I don't think that precludes the approval of those projects today, but maybe just make a note for future agenda items that we would bring that back just to reflect that we had the document in place at a future
Yeah.
meeting.
Like on the first item, a very minimum, the number 6 should have been in there on the description.
6 doors.
6 doors.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just a little more professional way of doing things.
This is a random question, Robbie, but do we have a couple meters that are still, I know we had bought some and put them on the shelf because we expected the price increase. Do we have still some of those on the shelf, and how many of those are in next year's budget, just so we would have an available stock?
There's 12.
Okay. We feel good about 12 and, okay,
The service have died down, I believe.
okay.
Capital expense, we're talking about that, that's down 53%. Are we missing something that we should be doing in capital expense that's gonna save us money in the long run?
At this point, no.
Do we have a list of
We do.
projects?
We have strategic goals over the next 5 years of what we're gonna tackle. A big one next year will be, once the tower is paid off, we are looking at, expanding and trying to sell 2, and then bringing the workshop over to Leisure Lane, so that we're all on site here rather than the operators being over on Somerset. So,
Operators or where?
so we have a workshop on Somerset,
Okay,
and they're over there most of the time, and this way we'll all be right on site. So that's one of our big projects for next year.
okay.
And I think a piece of that was to getting those loans paid off, so some of those larger projects could be done. And last year, we budgeted quite a lot for the upgrade of the SCADA, and then it ended up, we went with a different company, and it was way less. And so we didn't really, we had budgeted quite a bit for capital, but ended up not spending.
Correct. And then we bought the truck, and that came up.
Oh, yeah, the
And
truck.
And then a trailer, so,
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, so and then next year too, we're gonna start tackling the flushing hydrants and replacing them, the ones that need to be replaced, and that's gonna be a four.
Okay,
four
those are the
flushing
small
hydrants.
ones.
Yep. Yeah, we have a plan.
Okay. The footnote number 14, educational expense, you don't have anything in there for that? I really question,
educational,
yeah,
training, education,
For the operators, we just.
No, if you
increased-
go down to line 27. And go down to line 27 and 28.
27 and 28.
Yeah, so
our training.
27 is me,
Right.
and then 28 are the operators.
Mm-hmm.
so there's 2,500.
Yep.
There's a half decrease, is that because they achieved their
Their
certifications?
certifications are done, yeah.
Okay.
So the 2,500 will cover, and their licenses are up to date for the next 2 years
They need
now.
CEUs on an annual
Right.
basis.
Correct.
Okay, I see that.
that?
It's the way the
Okay.
percent, cut half of it, it's down 100%.
Yes. And we only have 2 rather than 3, because
Yeah.
Chad used to be in that budget also.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize then if I said this out loud already, but then for 2024, we would be looking to put 53,000 into the cash reserves at the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay. It's, the 100% was the thing that threw me. If you reduce it by 100%, you're killing it all.
You're killing it all, yeah.
But you're only, you're reducing it to half, which is 50%. So, but it's just the way you did the calculations, okay.
Debbie, can you, brief explanation, what is taxes to town, Tri-Lake Southern?
So we have to pay, it's $80 for 3 parcels?
It's the lot charge. They have to pay the lot
Yeah,
charge.
for our 3 parcels.
So in Tri-Lakes, you get the lot charge and then
Well, it's on taxes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So they have to pay the lot charge. They don't pay the assessed fee, but they pay the lot charge.
correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
It's just on our bonds.
Oh,
And then,
go ahead.
yeah, the debt obligations, this is the last
Yeah.
sheet.
Okay, so at one time I was told we couldn't pay these off ahead of time,
Not
but we do pay them off annually.
Annually, yes.
Or quarter, whatever it
That's
is.
the day we are finding.
It's like a
out.
regular mortgage on your house, but you
Correct.
can't pay it, you
There is
can't.
no prepayment
No
allowed with
prepayment.
these.
Yeah, with
Okay.
the Safe Water drinking loan, I don't think they allow prepayment on any of those loans. It's just, I don't know, it's a nuance for the
Yep.
Safe Water drinking loans.
Yeah, well, that's okay. So the top half is what happened. Date due is 10/5/1/20.
So top half is what happened in 2023 to bring us to our principal balance for 2024.
Okay. So,
In 2024, when we end 2024, we'll only owe 215,000 for the bond, and then 1,104,123 for the safe drinking water loan.
okay, so the bond in 2024 will come down to 215?
Correct,
And the water thing is down to $1 million,
$1 million, yes,
okay, and we pay off about $250,000 each year,
yes.
the bond pays off in 2025 and safe water drinking loan pays off in 2027.
27 and 20.
So just something for the utilities committee and board to think about. Obviously, you,
Long-term.
yeah, like do you
The,
need to bond?
at that
for
point in time, we may need to be bonding for main replacement.
Yes.
It's gonna probably dovetail with that, when we get into a more ambitious program.
Yeah,
That's what we're
that's, Chad brought that up, trying to time it, and said we got
Right.
some mains and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it'll come together right at that point.
And
It would be foolish not to.
Yeah,
I won't be with the town at that moment, but please remember, you can always reach out to Greg at Ellers, and they have someone Brian on their staff that only handles utilities and could help the water utility through that bonding
Okay.
process.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, it's different.
Yeah. Brian helped us when we did the plan about whether or not we wanted to expand the utility, so he's familiar with us because he put together that report.
Okay.
He worked with Strand and it dovetailed into Strand's report. I'm gonna make myself a note that I will just send you Greg Johnson from Ellers' contact, so you have it. Understanding that sometime into the future, but then you got it.
correct.
Supervisor Keppel would have it too from town board.
I've got it on my paperwork, but I could dig it out.
Other questions on budget? It was very well put together,
Yes,
rather
it was.
easy to understand. I appreciated the footnotes very much.
I know Dan likes detail.
what?
Dan likes detail.
Well,
I wanted to make
that's,
sure I laid it all out for you, except I work on my capital.
but, you know, any other expenditures, it just doesn't have to be capital, it could be some other thing that comes up. You know, that's not just, well, we're gonna buy 4 more
Oh,
meters
right,
this
yeah.
year or something, but something significant. You know, if you come to the board and say, this is the problem, this is what it's gonna cost us if we don't do it, and this is what it's gonna cost us if we do it, what the benefits are, and if it's funded or not funded, it helps. Then everybody's got a piece of paper to look at and you have the details.
Right.
Any other items related to budget? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to accept the budget on behalf of the committee and forward it to the town board.
Motion made.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Great. Dates and items for future agendas and meetings. Next agenda items. I had just noted down to Robbie that brief on capital, and if you wanted to share that 5-year plan, even if it was a draft, on what we're kind of thinking for the next 5 years of capital outlays.
Absolutely.
And then water utility update and all
Yeah,
that
all
other
the other stuff that we have on
general
this
stuff, yeah. Anything else from any of the committee members, or?
What was the next meeting date? I'm sorry.
We haven't
Oh,
gotten
we
there
didn't
yet.
get that
Oh,
far yet, yep. Robbie, did you have anything else that needed to be discussed for next
Not at
meeting?
this moment.
Okay,
Thank you.
so the next meeting date. We're getting in close into November. Do we still wanna meet one more time this year, or do we wanna go till after the first of the year?
How about December sometime? First part of, I didn't bring my December calendar, but it's pretty much open.
So first item on December agenda should be who's chairing the meeting.
Baby's gone, so we gotta pick somebody who's gonna chair.
How are we,
Before we move on,
how are we doing with filling the 2 vacancies?
I've had nothing.
We haven't, I don't believe we've heard anything.
No, not at this moment.
can somebody enlighten me as to why Jamie won't be here?
Have you
Oh.
not heard?
You didn't know?
Jamie's
She's
leaving us.
moving on.
I,
The Village of Weston.
yeah, I accepted a position as the administrator for the Village of Weston.
Weston. okay.
Yes, yes.
Her last day is November sixth.
17th.
17th.
It's definitely a step up. It is,
You
it is.
think Wesley is better than Rome?
It's a step up. Just ask her. Isn't it, is it not? It's a
Moving
step
on.
up. It's a step up.
I'm grateful to serve and to be of service. But I'm gonna make a transition in November, yes.
But that is a point of sharing the next.
Yes. Yeah, so it should just be the first agenda item on, I would suggest that you would just start the meeting, Robbie, you would call it to order and then accept motions for someone to chair.
Absolutely.
But then if we went to the first part of December, we're a little off cycle. I'm trying to think what our regular cycle was. Was it the first Tuesday?
Well,
For
we can't do
Mondays.
Tuesdays because we have to do
We
Mondays.
moved it to
because of Dan.
Mondays.
Okay.
Okay.
So December 4th would be
Yeah.
the first Tuesday?
Yeah, there's,
Fine for me.
At
That
10
one
a.m.
I can make in the morning,
good,
if you wanna go back to mornings.
yes.
10 a.m.?
10
Chris-
a.m.?
Pool is over with.
Pool or
Christmas
pool?
break.
Pool.
Okay.
There's a Christmas break.
So the next meeting would be Monday, December 4th at 10 a.m. in this room.
Yes, and I will be on time.
Okay. So then I would call this meeting adjourned for today, 3:39 p.m. Thank you.